There's a very interesting discussion going on right now within evangelical churches. Evangelical churches are trying to decide whether or not emergent churches are really in their family or something altogether different. I'm Dr. Rick Durst. I teach Christian theology at Gate Seminary, and this is the first of a three-part video on the relationship between the evangelical and the emergent church. Thanks for watching. One way to understand the evangelical churches, those are the churches that emerged with the Protestant Reformation and have sort of re-emerged with the Awakenings and the Second Great Awakening, and then re-emerged even more loudly and powerfully after World War II with things like the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. Typically, evangelical churches are boundaried, meaning that they have carefully defined terms of membership so that you believe in order to belong. One of the great books that's come out recently in the evangelical world is 9 Marks of the Church by Mark Dever. So it's very careful to identify the boundaried set of membership and looking at baptism and the Lord's Supper as key markers in that boundary. On the other side, there is emerging a new way of doing church, perhaps understood in the evangelical world, and that's the centered set. Now, this language, boundaried and centered, emerges out of cultural anthropology, but the idea here is instead of having a fence around the property, you put a well right at the center. And so people move to that well, and of course the well is Jesus in the emergent world. And so in this, instead of believing in order to belong, you belong in order to believe. And so this is sort of a new neighbor on the street, and there's a big discussion between the two as which is the most viable and vital, and what's the difference in determining that issue. Now, in the second video, I want to talk about the differences in doctrinal understanding and explanation. So I hope you'll watch the next video too in this series.